2025 has been a pretty good year for music. Now, I wasn't originally going to be making this video, but the other video I'm working on is going to take a while to finish, so I thought I'd make a quick video discussing my top 10 albums of this year. Quick disclaimer, I never got around to listening to these albums, so yeah. Let's jump right into it, with number 10 being First Day Back by Forward. With Midwest emo being in a pretty rough spot at the moment, I was really impressed from this debut album. Good Midwest emo is rare enough, but a Midwest emo album that's good and unique, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. Well, thankfully, Forward absolutely delivered with First Day Back. It's an album that's all over the place, yet the theme is clear and direct, covering topics like parental divorce, moving out for the first time, and leaving your hometown. It's about moving on from the past. I think it's very interesting, as modern Midwest emo albums talk about being stuck in a shitty hometown or being stuck on an ex-girlfriend, but Forward tapped back into the old themes in Midwest emo, and it's extremely refreshing to see. Number 9, I Have Revenge Seekers by Jane Remover. This might be a controversial decision, putting such a well-received album this low, but I think if Jane releases one more album in this style, she'll easily have our album of the year. But Revenge Seekers is really good, extremely creative, and as far as digicore goes, definitely one of the defining releases for the genre. I love the sound effects in this album, from the Fortnite ping, the constant glass breaking during the album. It's all just so good. It reminded me of High C's sound effects band, which is one of my favorite things about his music in general.
LeBron James. Scream if you love. High C.
Okay. Be my poop.
There's no turning back.
Spaghetti!
So I was bound to really like this album. Also, Danny's Brown feature is so good. I think one thing I could have added to this album was more features, maybe like an underscore, I don't know. But I will say this, Jane, if you came to Perth in Australia, maybe this would be high, but you skipped it. So wow, that's why you get a number 9. Number 8 is The Peak by Smoke Dope 2016. Smoke Dope's whole career is a love letter to cloud rap, and I'll forever appreciate him trying to bring back that sound. That being said, Smoke Dope definitely adds his own twist and has his own uniqueness to it. I don't think The Peak was as good as the Come Up, but it's definitely close. I'd really love to see Smoke Dope go in a more emotional direction with the Come Down, as come downs are often time for reflection or just feel very depressing at times. I think if the Come Down has more songs like East Bay and that sort of vibe, he'll easily have another top 10 album of the year. Number 7 is Museum Music. Now I'm counting both Museum Musics because technically they are the same album, and I'm not sure why Edward had to be difficult about releasing the albums separately, but it's whatever. The rollout for this album is so cool, with the main part of it not even being about the music, but instead being an abstract art performance. Edward performed a pop-up art gallery in New York. The weirdest part about the performance was where Edward was trapped in the box and fans could do anything they wanted. They poured water and tried lighting the dude on fire. Now, onto the actual album. Museum Music is difficult to describe, as it's experimental to say the least. Elements of rage, cloud rap, digicore, electronic music, it all leads to this crazy masterpiece. Some say ironic, some say it's genius. I definitely lean more to the latter. Besides a really bad Brennan Jones feature, I can't really say much negative about this album. Also, I mean, technically it does have 30 tracks as well, so there's another thing. But other than that, this album really doesn't have any flaws, and I can only see Edward going up from here. As long as he keeps on experimenting, I think it'll be fine. Number 6 is Come, You Have Separated Me From All Things and Left Me Alone in This World by Telepath. After 6 years of not doing anything with the Telepath A-list, he finally got new music. But it didn't stop at 1 or even 3 albums. This was Telepath's 4th album he released this year. Now I will say, those other albums weren't really anything special, and I was kind of disappointed with them, but I'm glad this album served as a return to form for Telepath. This album definitely takes inspiration from his more earlier works in 2014, which is welcomed, and if you're a fan of them, definitely check this album out. And it's not to say he didn't expand on the sound. Now, is this Telepath's best album? No way. But it's definitely his best album since Interstellar Intercourse all the way back from 2019. So I think that definitely says something. Number 5 is Tranquilizer by One Tricks Point Never. Similar to Telepath, OPN had a big return to form with his new album. Tranquilizer is so out of this world and ethereal, it feels like you're floating in space. Each song has its own beautiful build-up that culminates into this one big grandiose payoff, and then it falls back down into normality, and the progressions you hear on this album will have you hypnotized with seconds as you can't help but hear the glory that unfolds before you. It's genius. Also, One of Tricks Point Never did the Mighty Supreme soundtrack, and I heard that was pretty good as well. Number 4 is Dark Skin with Light Skin Problems. I genuinely thought I'd heard it all after I'd heard Museum Music. Nope, I was so wrong. This album manages to be weirder, wackier, and better than Museum Music in every possible way. Listening to this for the first time was so crazy, as almost every song has some sort of surprise for you. Vocal chops, crazy samples, Tim Hacker-esque glitches throughout, and just pure chaos. Even when you think it's about to calm down, they switch it up again and bring it back, and it's just one-of-a-kind chaos. I've never heard anything like this. The duo of Sticker Bush and Heaven Souls really just doesn't miss, and they recently just dropped their new album, and I can't wait to hear it. I haven't heard it yet, but I can't wait to hear it. And the only thing I can really compare this album to is Death Grips or JPEG Mafia, you know, that sort of stuff, but even then, it just wouldn't do injustice of explaining the brilliance of this album, and you just need to hear it for yourself, honestly. Number 3 is Lucree by Dean Blunt and Elias Ronenfeld. Dean Blunt finding random ass white people and making bangers with them will never not be iconic. I must say, Elias is absolutely amazing and is most definitely the star of the show on this album. Incredible vocals, beautiful lyrics, I mean, what else could you want? Dean's production on this album is what you'd expect, and Elias is the perfect equal for it. I get most people would consider this an EP, but it's just too good not to put on the list. In 15 minutes, Dan and Elias make every second feel important and worth listening to. My only complaint is maybe some Dean vocals would have been cool alongside with Elias's, but even without that, this album is still phenomenal. Number 2 is Friend by James K. An album that sounds like heaven itself. Friend is so dreamlike and has some of my favorite production of this year, with it being so otherworldly and ethereal. James' vocals also adds on to the production. The vocals are borderline hypnotic and put you into a trance. Friend has elements of dream pop, down-tempo, and ambient pop, and it really reminds me of You'll Never Get to Heaven, with a more electronic-based sound instead of ambient. Back onto the production, you can hear little glitches and blips reminiscent of Sweet Trip style. Friend on the surface appears to just be a really nice and dreamlike album, but if you listen to the lyrics and take in what James is saying, James is actually talking us through a time away from the relationship, and now she's missing those days when she had someone special like that in her life. I honestly thought it was going to be my number 1 of the year. I was so certain. The lyrics, the production, everything about this album just screamed number 1, and it would have been number 1 until I heard Electric Chair by Cities of Eve. Really, nothing came close to this album, as hazy soundscape and mysterious nature makes this such a great listen. I fell in love after the first listen. Cities of Eve has always been such an underrated artist and has never truly gotten his flowers. So I just want to say, I think Cities of Eve has had one of the greatest runs of music and it's completely gone under the radar. Obviously, you've got the classic and Electric Chair, also a really solid compilation album of his works in Revolving Star 2. Both of these projects, and I still haven't mentioned his side project under African American Sound Recordings, we released 3 really solid ambient albums. I mean, who else is doing it like him? But back onto Electric Chair. Mixing vaporwave and hip hop seems like a no-brainer, but not many people do it. The sampling is similar to Echo Jams, almost with the album being very repetitive. The vocals are drowsy and it feels like City of Eve just woke up.
Why do some straight guys get so bloody pressed when a gay guy hits on them?
That makes it all the better, as it only adds to the mystery of the album. Some lyrics I can't even hear properly, but when you're good at Cities of Eve at creating a mystique, it just works perfectly. The production, these half-assed vocals, I can't explain why it works so well, but it just does. I hope to see some more similar stuff to this from him and in general. I hope more people get inspired by this and mix vaporwave and hip-hop more often. Yeah, so thanks for watching the video. It was pretty short and kind of rushed. I had another video I want to upload, but I'm pretty sure it can be over 40 minutes long, so I want to upload something and I thought, why not upload my top 10 albums of the year? Hopefully you guys found something cool that maybe you haven't heard before and you can play it and see what you think, or just let me know your list in the comments below and I'll check out some of that. But yeah, join the Discord if you want to come talk music, follow my TikTok and my Rhyme account as well.